Our goal for the overview is to teach 7th grade students the differences between plant and animal cells by interacting with the website and by creating a model. Using a Venn diagram, students will be able to list at least 2 differences and at least 5 similarities between the plant and animal cells. Without using any resources, students will be able to verbally describe parts of the plant cell to their mentor. Without using any resources, students will be able to verbally describe parts of the animal cell to their mentor. This fulfills the teaching standard of comparing and contrasting plant and animal cells.
For this lesson plan, the materials required are plates, toothpicks, pen or pencil, gummy worms representing the cytoplasmic reticulum, Little Debbie cake as the nucleus, icing is the cytoplasm, the large cookie representing the cell, mini chewy sweet tarts are the Golgi bodies, the nerds are the ribosomes, sour punch straws as the central vacuole, bubble yum is the mitochondria, Mike and Ike's representing the chloroplasts. You also need a picture of a plant and animal cells, a Venn diagram, computer with internet access, and a projector.
For the procedure of our lesson plan, our first step will be to introduce the topic of the plant and animal cell, and this will be done by showing 2 pictures, one of a plant cell and one of an animal cell on the projector using the computer. The second step will be having the students tell the differences between the 2 cells, and this will be done by having students volunteer and raising their hands. For our third step, we will use a computer and then go to the website that is shown on the lesson plan, the Quizlet.com website. This website will direct students to a page with flashcards that they can use to study. So to do this, we'll divide the students into groups of 3 or 4 individuals. The students will go through the flashcards and study them. And after doing this, they'll be able to access other ways to study the parts of the cell and their functions, with the speller activity and the learn activity that are provided on the Quizlet website. Next, the class as a whole will complete the test that is also provided on the website. Our next step will be to explain to the students that they will be creating an edible plant cell model, and it will be important to stress that it is a plant cell and not an animal cell. To do this, we will provide a list on the projector of the parts of the plant cell that the students should be representing with various food items. For example, the cell wall, Golgi bodies, nucleus, and whatnot. Then we will pass out already made ice cookies with diameters of about 9 inches. And the food items that will eventually become parts of the cell. We'll walk around the class and make sure that the students are using food items correctly with appropriate representations of the parts of the cell and not just eating the food. Then we'll discuss within small groups the differences of the plant and animal cells as well as describe the functions of the various parts. They'll do this as they're working on their cell models. They can answer questions like which cell has a cell wall, which has a cell membrane, so on and so forth. After they finish with their model, they can go back and discuss these differences and similarities by completing a Venn diagram. The Venn diagram must consist of at least 2 differences and 5 similarities. If they get done early enough, they should look over their definitions of the different parts and what they do. For the assessment portion of our lesson plan, the students will be able to describe the different functions within a cell with 100% accuracy using their edible models. By doing this, they'll be using toothpicks with pieces of paper to correctly label the parts of their plant cell models.
In these pictures, you can see us making the cell model as the students would be doing in this lesson plan.
In this picture, Peyton is adding the nucleus and the endoplasmic reticulum. And in this picture, I'm also helping her add them. Peyton is adding the Golgi bodies to the plant cell.
In these next 2 pictures, Brooke and Ariana are adding the central vacuole. At the conclusion of this lesson plan, the student's plant model should look similar to this one.
First, you'll start off by going to your web email, and you'll click on your Quizlet site that you get from your teacher. First thing that will show up is the flashcards that you can go through with your group members to see what they mean exactly and just to review the definitions if you already know them. After you go through all the definitions, you can go to study, you can go to speller and learn, and then you can go to test. So depending on what you want to work on, you can go to. They also have 2 games on here for you to play, and that's Scatter and Space Race. So depending on how good you are with the words and the definitions, you can play them. The point of Speller is to, you'll get to spell the word right, and you learn how to spell it. It'll give you a definition, and they'll say it, and then you will type it in, and they'll tell you if it's right. Okay, the point of learn is they'll give you the definition, and they'll give you everything about it, and you'll just have to type in the word to see if you get the answer right. And then after you think you've done it enough and you got it right, you can go to the games like Scatter. So with this game, you just have to drag them to the corresponding words to their definitions. And after you're done, you will take a quiz with your group members and the class to see how you did and to know if you really know it.
So this is our finished plant cell, and this little Debbie cake is the nucleus. The nerds are the ribosomes. The gum chunks are the mitochondria.
The green sour punch straws are the central vacuole. The sour gummy worms are the endoplasmic reticulum. The green myconites are the chloroplasts, and the mini sweet tarts chewy are the Golgi body.
And then the plate represents the cell wall. The outer cookie shell will represent the cell membrane, and then finally the white icing that we have represents the cytoplasm of the cell.
Hope you like your cookie.
Yum!